Still vulnerable in the playoffs. Still vulnerable in the playoffs.
Brian.
Gotta get that ring in the playoffs. Still vulnerable in the playoffs. Still vulnerable. The Boston Celtics still vulnerable. Atlanta 18. These are all dogs. Ridiculous. Playoffs beat the heat, you gotta know. Let's go Celtics, let's go. Come on, the fucking Celtics, let's go.
What's up? It's still potable here at, what is it called? The Gainbridge Fieldhouse these days?
Sounds right.
The Gainbridge Fieldhouse, where Jrue Holiday just ended game 3 in incredible fashion. Celtics come back from 18 points down in the second half. We are on the floor here at what I believe is called the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And wow, I still can't believe the Celtics pulled that one out.
That was something. That was for a team that struggled at points in crunch time in the final minute all year long. That was a game where, as opposed to game 1, where it was kind of given to them, this was one they took. And honestly, Jay, like, everyone kind of contributed to that comeback, starting with Jrue.
Yeah, the Jrue play. I mean, first the and-one,
right,
to go ahead with 39 seconds left, just goes at Pascal Siakam, which isn't really the matchup you want to attack if you're the Celtics. Probably isn't the player you want attacking if you're the Celtics. But Jrue thought that Pascal Siakam was on his heels, thought Siakam wasn't expecting him to get downhill, and was probably right. It was one of those moments where Jrue's unpredictability worked out, and a huge lefty finish. He loves those lefty finishes. Made the free throw, too, to put the Celtics ahead. Just a massive, massive play by Holiday. And then the steal was the highlight. Even above the and-one, the steal was it for me.
Yeah, that was nuts. And especially the way that game, when Nembhard was playing all night long and getting to his spots and just making shot after shot. And Jrue just using his instincts there. He knew exactly where he was going. And I think, we'll break down more of the final whole 2 minutes comeback there. But I thought the Celtics really played that whole sequence well when, Tatum got the shot in the rim there, but everyone else was in position to get back. And Nembhard was going pretty much 1-on-3, 1-on-4 in that spot. And I think that allowed Jrue to be able to make that gamble, to say, I know what he's trying to do. I'm going to get that ball because I know Al Horford's got my back. And he pulled it off, and lo and behold, they kind of pretty closed out the win.
It reminded me so much of the play Holiday made against the Celtics in Game 5 of the 2022 second round. And in that game, it was the other way around, where I think the Celtics were up 11 in the fourth quarter of that game, just kind of gave it all up, and Holiday made a massive, massive steal. Joe Mazzulla called it his trademark steal, where he just cuts off the ball handler going to the right. In this case, that
was smart, right? On that play, he stole from.
I think it was smart, yeah. And this time it was Nembhard, and just the ability to move his feet and beat him to the spot, and then be able to reach out with the hand and poke it away in that moment of the game. It's a ballsy play to even try to make that play, because if you miss it, Pacers are going to the line with a chance to win. Instead, I guess. Yeah, because it was 1 at that point.
Yep, it was 1. Yep.
And so just a ballsy play, a great play. Rick Carlisle was furious. He thought it was a foul. I didn't see too much of a foul.
I neither. I went back and watched a couple times. It was like, that was, it wasn't completely clean, but that was as clean as you're going to get at that point of the game, I feel like, for a play like that.
And yeah, just incredible feet, incredible hands, just all of it. And that's the Jrue Holiday. That's why you acquired Jrue Holiday for that play right there. And there aren't many guys, I think, who could make that play in that moment. It was just spectacular. It really was. And I mean, the Celtics still had to dodge an Aaron Nesmith.
Did you like the football formation play?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was so cool. And it worked. They ran some sort of crossing out crossing
moving
route.
pick.
It was like Tyreek Hill out there with Jalen Waddle, and Aaron Neesmith was wide open in the corner.
Jrue actually, I give Holiday, he
made a recovery.
He made a recovery. He got out there, like it was still a pretty clean look, but Jrue again playing free safety, like saw what was going on and was able to kind of bail out Derek White, and I forget who got picked off there entirely. But yeah, again, Jrue was everywhere. That was a really fun wrinkle. That was, if he made that shot, that would have been nuts.
if they'd hit the Hail Mary football to play to force overtime. Yeah, for a while it did not feel like the Celtics were going to win this game. For most of the game, it did not feel like the Celtics. I would say all of the game.
46 minutes, I'd say.
The Celtics were going to win this game. Nembhard and McConnell were just special. They played at 1,000,000 miles an hour. They were getting out in transition. They were getting into the paint. They were finishing everything. I saw a lot of talk on Twitter about the shot making of the Pacers, and I do think there was some of that with the finishing, but the Celtics just weren't playing at the same speed as Indiana.
No.
And without Halliburton, it's weird because Halliburton's great. He's all NBA. He's their best player, but when he's out there, he's looking for threes. He's looking to pass. He is not looking to penetrate and score. That's just not his game. McConnell and Nembhard were, and they were in attack mode from the start. I just thought those guys played with freedom and purpose and sort of had the Celtics on their heels the whole game. Nembhard had 32. His season high was 22 before that. He passed out with 8 minutes left in the third quarter.
Wow. McConnell
just keeps playing fantastic basketball. It took the Celtics a long time, and they kind of all talked about later, the players and Joe talked about just how many coverages they tried and cycled through before eventually finding something that finally worked.
Yeah, and they did eventually get there, but before that, it was the guys you went, and then even like Turner and Siakam were also just crazy good in the first half, where again, you help off anyone, you're in trouble because they're going to find them open. So the rim protection obviously wasn't there. The Celtics are obviously playing smaller now anyway, just without having Porzingis, without having Cornette in a game like this to provide that extra layer there. But then in the second half, halfway through that third quarter, Jay, they started, the stops started to come. And it was some interesting ring. What do you think what do you think that's just them? Do you think of the intensity they ratcheted up? Some interesting lineup choices were made, I thought, too, that maybe slowly contributed to there. But it would, I think they held them to 6 points in the last 6 minutes of that third quarter.
Yeah, and so they did some things differently. They went to Xavier Tillman, who hasn't really played at all in the playoffs. After the small lineup with O'Shea Brissett at center just didn't work out in the first half. Miles Turner was much more aggressive against that. It felt like just kind of decided, I'm not going to let these small guys get the best of me, although he did get blocked by Derek White. Derek White had an incredible block.
Standard Derek White tonight. Rim protector Derek White. 4
blocks. The Celtics had 12 block shots, which is crazy because the Pacers still shot 51% while shooting 5 for 22 from 3. The 2-point percentage they had on the shots that actually got to the rim was insane.
Yeah.
And I think some of that was a lack of Celtics defense. Some of it was just the pace the Pacers played at, and some of it was just some impressive finishing. They had 68 points in the paint, the Pacers did, but only 26 after halftime.
Right.
And only 26. That's still a lot.
That's a pretty.
But when you're taking away the line and they're not getting much else, you can be okay with that. And it just felt like the Celtics started making extra effort plays. Jrue started getting deflections. Derek White started getting deflections. Jason Tatum had rotation and block. Al Horford, rotation and block. Just felt like, and I don't know whether they got to something that they liked, or Tatum put it this way. He's like, it didn't really matter whether we were in zone or man. It was just we had to want it more.
Yeah.
And they woke up. They woke all the way up. And really, their offense went through dry spells during the comeback. They had a bunch of chances to cut it closer, to pull even, and they missed a bunch of threes. They probably settled for some quick looks that weren't great. I thought they might have gotten like a little antsy at times during the comeback, but just kind of stayed with it, gave themselves one last chance, and took full advantage of it.
Steel bottle, steel bottle, Boston Celtics, steel bottle.